Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Trend Digest. My name is Nana Ebo, of course, with Double H at the back, and I am here with Awuche. This episode of Trend Digest is powered by Earth Dreams Entertainment. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you think. Others here. Now, make we get straight into Awuche. You are welcome.
Nana Nyamiado.
Now, asam na ede ba no, ebi ede, ebi so bini say da na you know, but then by the end of the conversation, by the end of today's session, you're going to understand and know why I'm saying this. So, Donald John Trump, yes, the 45th and currently the 47th president of the United States of America, or there's some executive orders be about out in the first day. You didn't see you so never know the buy no door so, but then two way, and we are saying man saying I can't want them because of the content of it. Now, firstly, I wish room from this side. Donald Trump is saying in the United States of America, he only recognizes just two genders. It's either you are a male or a female. And you need to mention what's your thought on that?
Okay, so before I enter into the issue, welcome everyone. You're welcome to another episode of Trend Digest. Is it how we are United States of America? Hey, Nana.
I don't know who.
Nana to.
All
right. So let's talk about the issue on board. So Donald is saying he only recognizes two gender. That is the male gender and the female gender. What's the problem? You see, we should understand as people that how do we know the gender of someone? How do we know the gender of someone?
How do we know?
Yes.
What's
your gender?
I'm a male.
Why are you male?
Because I have the male organ.
Remember
me, my babies, I'll be able to catch it. My baby, if you know me, but remember my history channel.
Okay, you possess the male sex organ, so you think you are a male, or you are a male. How did you get the male sex organ?
How did I get it?
Yes.
How did I get to say? Yeah, woman I'm a buy.
Fantastic. No, that's the answer.
Yeah, woman I'm a buy.
So you got it by birth or from birth.
Yeah.
Right. So you see, it is only normal that when you are born, you have a gender.
Yeah.
So it is a natural phenomenon. God actually allocates that this person should be a male or that person should be a female. God knows. Say ebi ananaba oba anko bebi ebi na namu dodo. Enti nyankopon e woni nimdie mu. That be why we dey call am say.
That be
why. That be why we dey call him say he's omniscient. When we say omniscient means he's all-knowing. So God knows the beginning from the end and the end from the beginning. So in his own wisdom, he allocates sex organs at birth. Or just when like copulation or sex has gone on and because they say it's science, according to the create the organ. Say A kokan Z, na Z kokan Y, na Y become B. So God has already done that. And once God does that, in the wisdom, and was say, you see, unless we are not Christians or Muslims. So if we are Christians and we believe in the Holy Book, if we are Muslims and we believe in the Holy Quran, then it means that only one person has the power to dictate who we can be.
So I will check me about. Now, I say, what about those people who have already done that already? Who has already who have and who has I will check there. What's that? Who have so the transgenders. Some people have already undergone the process already. Who are transforming from how could you hurry? Why you say I could say so those people no so bad. The issue is with them and Kasa.
So Nana, you see, first of all, we should acknowledge the fact that I don't want to go so hard, but we should acknowledge the fact that to me, personally, I feel like transgender is an abnormality. Yes, you know the reason why. So let's take it from this point. There is an English word called gender. So it means you already acknowledge that you have a gender. So why are you telling me you want to cross over? Nasa nyankopon ama ya started 2025 every January. anko February anko March wobeda no wakyerɛ ho no nyina sɛ me kwa go do 2026 so nipa na ode wo ba wiase no wakyerɛ wo sɛ this be what I want make you do so nipa you see science is a blessing but sometimes one way here nyansa bebre no etimi koye that be why we dey talk say too much of everything e not really good so the question is why do people want to trans why do people want to cross over from a particular gender to another gender? Are they saying their maker is not wise enough? Are they saying they have seen challenges with the male gender and they want to move from the male gender to the female gender or vice versa? So we should first of all understand the reason why people want to trans. And if not even a single trans person can give me a valid, tangible reason, and all their reason is based on the English word right. Right. I have the right to do this. I have the right to do that. I have the right to do that. But forgetting the fact that right or the word right is premised on a word. Right is premised on a word which is existence. Before you can have the right to something, you have to first of all exist. Do you have the right to exist? You did not have the right when your mother, who was, let's say, Pat, was being copulated by your father, who is Telu, that I want to come on earth on this date. So why are you telling me that when you don't have any power whatsoever on your existence on earth, you can tell me now I don't want to live as this person, but I want to live as that person? It is abnormal because once you have accepted that your right was nothing, or you had no right when your father was mating with your mother, or your father was mating your mother, and your mother kept on screaming, hate me hard. Oh, I want more. Do this. I want that.
More of you.
I want more of you.
The
more I...
Yes.
So once you had no authority, once you had no jurisdiction in that area, you don't have any jurisdiction in who you live to be. So you see, it is a great move by the president, and no wonder he has the name John. Just as he said, you see, apart from Osajefo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, when you go into the history of Ghana, all are great leaders.
John.
All are best leaders. They are Johns. If you take out the Johns, you can be a this be fact. I'm not mentioning it, but we are within this country inside. And we are the last election. We go see somebody where his name no be John. He right in our political history, he has the worst percentage or whatever, because his predecessor was not John, because he coming in was not John, and we crowned a John.
So Awuche, let's get to this part too. So you see, America is if not the most powerful country, maybe up there with the top 3 or top 2. So the decision that the president has taken, do you think it's going to have an effect on the world as a whole? Because most people actually take inspiration from the lifestyle of these people. I can say for a fact that some people just have the energy, or they have the mindset of even engaging in that because they saw someone as the brony creative. So do you think it's going to have an impact what we are seeing in also?
You see, in life there is an English word which we call role model. Everybody has a role model, and when we talk about countries likewise, countries have countries which they look up to, and just as you rightfully put it, there are certain countries which are super, and America is, let's say, the greatest, if not the greatest, top 2 like you put it, but America obviously would be the greatest. So you see, a lot of countries look up to America, and because of, especially, let's come to this our part of the world where we live in Africa, and most of our leaders, most of our countries rely on foreign aid from the Americans. So it got to a point where the vice president of America came here, and in a way she was trying to push things through for us to accept, let's say, the LGBTQ T plus and all those things. You see, so when America or the president of America can come clear, and there is legislation to it that we are not going to allow trans, there is not going to be LGB, whatever. It means other countries, for instance, Ghana, at a point in time, Ghana was living in a fear of our leaders accepting, because the president at the time could not point blank when he was asked on BBC that if he's going to allow the passage of the LGBTQ bill, or if he's going to accept or legalize the LGBTQ and all that, because our leaders were playing politics. So if the country we look up to, if the country or the countries which are giving aid to these weak African nations, the developing African nations, the, let's say, the underdeveloped and all that, the people we look up to are now saying, we are not going to allow trans, we are not going to allow this LGBTQ, all those things which I term as a disorder. If we are not going to allow it, then it means it is a clear case for our legislature. It is a clear case for our parliament to, without doubt, for our parliament let's say, with all the powers and with no influence whatsoever, they can walk into the parliament house, and I expect that as soon as possible, that LGBTQ whatever bill should be passed. Because even the country which you are thinking about your foreign relations being broken with them, when you pass that bill, now this country is coming out to tell you that I don't support this. So it makes it so easier for African countries who the leaders were trying to play politics by playing it safe, so that when we need aid and we go to these foreigners, they are going to give to us. So I think it is great. It is great for so many countries, especially our African countries and our mother Ghana.
And also, in his campaign messages, in fact, these were all part. You people, the Americans knew that Trump was going to stand for this. He's a Christian and he was going to stand for this. It was part of his campaign messages. So the fact that the people of America voted for him means, come on. There's one thing that Trump has done that is really showing that he wasn't just talking, that he really meant what he said. And so see, I was saying, he has ordered the federal prisons to transfer inmates who are transgender women to men's facility. It is a prison hall. More trans more man side here. The side because originally more. What do you think about that?
They say prison hall bed. Wait, I just saw for me. Oh, preach you, I saw them. The reference to preach you, I saw them. I said, I saw them, and I saw them. I bet they say, but they are some now. And they mean to drink. What I said, but you see, just as I said, Oko yamfano the sporting fraternity. Imagine say, Nana ebo awoti we. Oye bema. Now say why a trans and say oye oba. With genes, no hormones, no nyome woman. The genes and the hormones, whatever science for anybody say of. A man is different from the build of a woman.
True.
That is why naturally a man is being said to be naturally strong or stronger as compared to a woman. So if say na na ebo awoti here we be men. Now you ever say na was why a trans. Now you the walk akujina a ma track race so say no 100 meters. Imagine somebody like Kylian Mbappe also why a trans into 100 meters no name mark akujina track so. Okay, we are there man be Lucy. So this was unfair. Enti Bema or say why trans or your bar into the never to a man prison. I didn't know what the bear man. What's the mechanism? So it is only right. Ke we Bema, but that man aside. And the trans people now they are complaining say a man no every form to me or mono for or bat and all that. Come on. They should face the consequences for their actions, because it makes absolutely no sense that you know that you are of this gender, but now because of say who will say who person your friend will say ya wo no wo ye mansa
obi was so feel woni mu I feel within me ya
wo no wo ye mansa o say I feel within me say me ye mensa. Come on. And who yi no akwa ye ni e. It doesn't work that way. You see, there is a natural order in the world, and it is right that the natural order takes the rightful place, and that is the sanity Donald Trump is bringing to the American system. And I am hoping that our leaders, just as I said, can emulate same in this our part of the world. We should be staunch on things we believe in. We tout ourselves as Ghanaians to be a Christian country, and a certain president can be bold enough that he is building a national cathedral, but this president cannot be bold enough to sign a bill that says that LGBTQ is illegal and should be criminalized. Are we not playing politics with ourselves? Are we not being abnormally? I don't want to use some words. Because at the end of the day, it might offend certain people, but it doesn't make sense if you tell me you are investing millions of dollars of the Ghanaian taxpayers' money in building a national cathedral, but you can't sign a bill which is not going to cost, or which is going to cost Ghana $0 million or even $0. You cannot sign it, but yet you want to build a national cathedral and go and say to maybe I say time and you we come on, man.
So, Awuche, let's go to the next subject. Now, it is about citizenship. So, the citizenship. Now, moi, Trump is saying that moi, especially the famous people. Some are celebrities, some are normal famous people. We know them; they are not celebrities. Moi, 2 months. We say, you know that your kids are automatically citizens of the United States of America. And right now, Trump say, Obano on your citizen view. Right now, your trust added in view. Internet and find show with tribute. Obama almost and they're bragging. Now, my kid is a how my kid won't Munamoka Mobile won't come on to Crampo. Now, they say Trump say, we come. And to celebrities that China 2 months, I say you can't converse I'm not magic. And when you say once the child becomes a citizen to automatically helps the mother also build her way around her citizenship and her green card stuff. Until now, first the opportunities being there, the other members be here. Mobile someone come on to Trump and Chama Uchi. Says I say unless the mom or the dad is a citizen, Obama and yes or yes citizen. Now, as I'm for Trump, and the Abadano, and also, we've been sure what they say.
Nana, you see, I would want to tread cautiously because we are going to touch on the egos of people. But you see, let's call a speed and not an eating tool. What is right. What is not right is not right. Let's understand that one of the reasons why Ghanaians, Africans, and people have always bragged with the fact that my son, my ward, my daughter, my sibling is an American is because our African countries, we are not great. You see, when Donald Trump was campaigning, what was his message? Let's make America great once again. So you see, the Africans, this is why I said I am going to touch on the egos of people. Africans as a nation, as a continent, as people, we have been pissed by some of the moves President Donald Trump is undertaking. The deportation, this citizenship status, and all that. We have been, let's say, our ego has been bruised because we think that we are no longer going to get certain opportunities which we used to have. But why do we have a problem? We have a problem, like I said, because our countries, they are abysmal. I can tell you for a fact. You see how Ghanaians accepted the Burkinabe president. What is his name? The young guy. Traore. You see, Ghanaians, he was the leader who received the most applause, the most commentary, and all those things because Ghanaians have seen the transformation he's taking Burkina Faso into. So Ghanaians are now proud of Burkina Faso. There was a time when Paul Kagame was hailed on the African continent. You see, let me cast our minds back. There was a leader, yesterday I chanced on something, where I think that was released somewhere in 2009, where Mohammed El Gaddafi was talking about the fact that World Health Organization or the superiors, the whites, are going to manufacture viruses and then they release it onto the world. And they are going to now sell back, vaccines to us so that the people in the health practitioner field would gain money and profit and all that. This is something he said way back, I think in 2009 and something like that. He was a visionary person. You see, so at a point, ask yourself, why was Gaddafi assassinated? You see, Libya was at a point where Libya was so developed that we had people more Ghana, more desert, so more Sereso, so more Libya. True. We were so enviable of Libya because of how Gaddafi had developed Libya. So trust me, Nana, if we are able to develop our African continent to a place where like we are going to be proud of it ourselves, if we are able to develop Ghana to be the pinnacle, to be the black star of Africa as we always tout ourselves, Nana Ebua, ebeye den so obi be sori afri Ghana ha na wakọ akọtena wom he wallahi na ebo what Ghana ha na wo ska na wo obi bi di de opese wo hye utimi hye de opese wo di utimi di a na ebo wallahi Ghana ha the rough me I go tell you this because I have worked with people they omo here be omo timi to obi sabi obi hye wo so
True.
what did they make and I say so you see the problem with us as Africans and the reasons why we are crying and the reason why we feel this is a foul move by Donald Trump is because I said now he can your green card status near the other. But he is thinking about his country. And he said that Trawi as he is thinking about the country. No, we are hoping His Excellency, the second coming of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and can obet me developing Ghana to such a way say Donald Trump I can say oh my Ghana ni bia kra ma bochira ye nim say ye man so de we sit in a country where your leaders no omo yare no ma for flight no mo ka bochi we sit in a country where say obi yare a obeko hospital no there is something we say no bed syndrome and this is a term I work Ghana you can no bed syndrome obi on mind bia so much away but it is painful and pathetic so this still continues we live in a country where like enyoma na ekoso no wodwe hu a wonya den won ti ase enti time bia ye pese yakobo hu dwa ewa abochi enti se me na me de me na me run the helms of affair of America or Ghana na me say citizenship by birth it's no longer going to guarantee you a status of being a citizen. What Ghana? What Somalia? What Yugoslavia? What are they saying? If your country is great,
I wasn't timid. I wasn't Trump
timid. And the question is, are the people there? Are the Americans complaining? Is he wrong for thinking about making his people great? Now, we always come here on Trend Digest. We talk about Dr. Frank Amoako and his exploits and he being a prospect and all that. Would Dr. Frank Amoako be wrong when his focus is on developing the Ashanti region? Would he be wrong? No, because in his jurisdiction, he only has the power to develop Ashanti region. Otumfuo Nana Osei Tutu. Say Yafan say Otenasino Otumfuo Nana Osei Tutu. Ewu say nyoma kosu ye o Komfanoche. The central government is not helping the people of Ashanti region. Na Komfanoche atitia pansam. Na say Otumfuo Osei Tutu launch a project which he calls Hill Komfanoche. Is he wrong for thinking about the people of Ashanti region and wanting to make Ashanti region great? Is he wrong? No, because that is his jurisdiction. So we should be able to understand Donald Trump from his jurisdiction. Why consider the facts, why consider the data. And one who say, Sanyomano a change the development of America. Actually, a mad dependency ratio, a must say, retarded the growth of his country. Nasa Osusu said, when a babuana, Yana Yatia Chirino, Yana Yachere say, on your day, Mamma Family Entertainment Field. This is a last example I am going to give. And somebody like Medica. Medica was a fantastic rapper when he was coming up. Anybody should go and listen way back. Medica started here and Urban. At that time, there were comparisons between Medica and Sarkodie. Say Medica, the next big thing in Ghana music. Right now, Medica is commercial rap. Medica need that hardcore rap again. But in those two times, they say Medica are successful. Yeah, he this car, put his car on his table.
Right now.
So if you are a family member of Medica, would you advise him say, "Okay, yes, I hard rap now. Konta Kramone, your friend say Strong G ne. I'm proud to class with you.
Kim Paluta, yeah. Ouch.
Kaboom nigga, what one rap is what you say? The Oswiti now a commercial rap no. Afamano. Kim Paluta, a street rap no mukra. Afamano. Now he's being selfish. Victor Boniface. Osha na. Off our baton. Oko kasi out. African who the Ballon d'Or day. Oscar, Brazil. Saturn, Oscar. No, the peak of his career. Oscar for China because Brazil and your more thing. And you also were dreaming Bush from where they oko kasi out. So we are sana Baby Jet. China no free. Sunderland. He was at the peak of his career. But so when you Baby Jet be. Nasa says can a baby a switch baby jet so what mission baby jet and Naka just say K England on our one born our body we are seeing udi and TG's can what you want and they China now we your papa. So Satama as a modern air China you hear sports pundits, you hear journalists the captain of our national team should not be playing at China and an carrier wallahi as a modern a bobo ni we know but never say a come na who be man is carry be fino So I was born in Bray.
A national team in Crumple, were they even treating
Yes.
them right?
Enti I was born in Bray. Enti Donald Trump born in Bray. Ni bra na born ye nu say. Ohun say me fan say bia oye o America. Na say one for the right way. Donald Trump cannot deport obi or valid papers.
Yeah.
He's only deporting people who are illegal immigrants. Na ohwe na o papers nya obe deport o. Wahwe no won say omo obi wo politicians, especially politicians no one, because they always can over power. The passport be obetumi dia fanti. Wahwe ya na yire enyema aka be 3 weeks and 1 month bi amana wo no. No fly no, not na kwa go travel no ba be American. Na ye tia, no ma me ye bre. Ye nyina ebetinam.
So the last thing I ever touch on before we go is the deportation. Now, Sesiano, they are deported. You say Sesiano, who are Jumam, who are very above who papers were in fact. You're checking out the man, right there, they're show now how you are right there, and they are show. Yeah, the one question play when you better now Sigala, when you better now Burkina Faso, when you better now free baby, I'll buy here. So, there's been a number of people are deported and the list is out here. It will shock you. The list will shock you. Ghana near that top. It's just a minor. Ghana near that top, and this is even more. Deported it means there are more Ghanaians there, and more deported 6,200. Ghana is leading. Trump deportation list. Ghana 6,200 Ghanaians in the United States have been deported back to Ghana. Now, you call the next one, it is Egypt, 5,400. Romania, 4,700. Guinea, 4,500. Senegal, 3,800. Georgia, 300. Albania, 2,300. Angola, 1,800. Tajikistan, 1,500. Mauritania, 1,000. The number is where do you? Where are my actual mono? About doso. And all these people, one way or the other, are not having the right documents for them to stay in the United States of America. And Trump a deported. So Ghana and was. I don't know shocking when I say which mean who Nigeria for the Nigeria for me who into Nigeria for who.
So according to Ibiana me reading, it looks like most of the Nigerians who are there, your friend is saying like Omu Ghanaian.
Okay.
Ghana process.
Ghana process.
So based on whatever they have and the categorization they are making, it looks like the 6,200 figure you have is a combination of Ghanaians and Nigerians.
Okay.
So that be what
because in a best shocking me pass because where Ghana did Nigeria did their sub like Nigeria for day here. It's a which a go for your 40 or Baba down and people as usual are complaining, people are talking about it, and people are also saying that I saw some a video on TikTok that someone in the United States was actually saying sometimes you even have the proper documentation and stuff, but then maybe a bar pressure and how they'll be questioning you. Almost your mobile, you're strapping on mobile into a when they start asking you some 1 or 2 questions. That's the one to different do who you are. Before you realize, because you're strapping, so they ask you some questions. Where is this? Where is this? Is it legit? You want a question or line of answering, then you papa biasa. So now what's here now? And people are talking about. I would say your thought on this before we enter this session.
So you see, I'll tell you something. Do you know the group of people who should be so much happy with these figures? Governments, African governments. Worldwide governments, especially African governments, the Ghanaian government, the current government should be happy. Donald Trump has taken a decision to deport illegal immigrants, to deport people who don't have the right papers. You know why?
Why?
Let me tell you one thing. So within the last 4 years, Ghana has recorded the highest brain drain figures. And when I say brain drain, that is people moving out of the country to seek greener pastures elsewhere. So the fear is that with the high figures of brain drain, we are losing our human resources to the Americans and elsewhere. So if you are a government, Ghana has been blessed with so much natural resources. We have the gold, we have the bauxite, we have the manganese, we have the aluminium, we have the whatever, diamond, petrol, your friends, oil, like whatever. We have all those things. But you see, resources are not, they become. So when we say resources are not, they become, it's about who is going to turn the gold into a final good. So during the vetting of the Ashanti Regional Minister designate, he said something, and I'm going to quote him. He said, we should be able to not treat waste as waste, but we should treat waste as a resource. How can we treat waste as a resource? We generate a lot of waste in the country. So how about you get some brains to think about how can we turn this into a resource? That is how to develop a country. You get dedicated, intelligent young men and women who would sit to brainstorm that how are we going to turn this into a finished good? How are we going to improve upon this? So at the end of the day, when you have the learned people in your country who constantly complain of youth unemployment, when people complain of graduate youth unemployment, the next thing they are going to resort to is they are going to go outside to look for work. When your nurses complete school and you cannot post them, they would move elsewhere. They would move to Vietnam. They would move to Sri Lanka. They would move to Russia. They would move to these places. And then they are going to get employment and they are going to be well paid. When your engineers, who are supposed to be the brain, the manufacturing brains behind the country, and sit and think and manufacture things. You think China was developed just like that? You think Dubai was developed just because it was foreigners? No. It was the core of the people in the country. The leaders created an agenda that this is where we want to be within the next few years. We have professors. I'll tell you, I'll mention one gentleman's name. On another podcast, I'll come and give you details about him. His name was Jeff, or his name is Jeffrey. So Jeffrey was the SRC General Secretary of UMAT somewhere in 2013, 2014 academic year. Yes, I think so. If my memory serves me right. Either 2013, 2014 or 2014, 2015. And this guy had a project which he wanted to work on. He liaised with professors in the country, doctors in the country. He went to ministries and all that, soliciting for support to embark on that. We didn't hear him out because we did not even understand him. Then Jeffrey moved outside the country to Australia. And now Jeffrey is in the newspaper. Jeffrey is working for the Australian government. As we speak right now. He's a huge figure in Australia right now. So you see, when this person could have been a developmental project, we could have used Jeffrey as a project for the country. There are so many people like Jeffrey. Just as I said earlier on, when people witnessed the vetting of Dr. Frank Amoakwini, they were like, where did NDC discover this intelligent young man? So there are so many intelligent people coming out of KNUST. There are so many intelligent people coming out of Legon. There are so many intelligent people coming out of the polytechnics, which now we call, how do we call them?
Technical universities.
Technical universities. There are so many intelligent young men in the vocational institutions. But you see, the problem is we are losing these people to outside. There are so many creatives. There can be so many great cinematographers. There can be so many great musicians. But at the end of the day, when you have Kwesi Arthur who were doing so well in the country, and now they don't even stay in the country, but they live abroad because your systems are not great. And we have musicians who can boldly tell you, we have actors who can boldly tell you that they are now working as Uber drivers. They are now working as shop attendants in countries elsewhere because the system is working. Then it means you can hardly develop your country because these are the brains you can use to move your country forward. So the reason why I said government should be happy with this is that Donald Trump is in a way making some Dan Lati of GCPP. When he was contesting for president, he contested for president a couple of times. His policy, I was young, but his policy still rings in my mind. Because he would say that I, Dan Latte of GCPP Domestication Party, the domestication party he's talking about domesticating everything we want to do. What if we get to a time when Ghana can process cocoa into something else? When we can process gold into something else? When we don't have to export our bauxite before it can be processed into something great? Traoré is doing something magnificent. He has set up a tomato factory. And have you asked yourself, how many people has this tomato factory employed? So if you as a government or if you as a citizen you are disturbed by the fact that Donald Trump is saying that he's not going to allow illegal immigrants. He's not going to allow people when, by virtue of being born into America, you are going to be a citizen, and you are sad, or you think he's wicked. No, he's helping you build your country. So you see, in everything, we just don't have to look at the negative narrative. The negative narrative is people are going to lose, how do they call it? Greener pastures.
Yeah.
People are going to lose that luxury. But what about we look at the positive side? How about we build our country? How about we also set the agenda of let's make Ghana great? Then we can do something soon. If Ghana develops, who travels? Nobody. If Ghana develops, is it Awuche who benefits? No. You benefit, Awuche benefit, the country benefits, everybody benefits. There is jobs. There is less dependency. Bibia systems in Yegma. Again, na efficiency. Enti Cheni Jonas enyam fa camera machine ani. Endi watem se bibinia timi dodo. All me kan chose be bia do fa bia glass nkwa because glass nkwa na ye kan eye bibifo na akwa kobuo na omo develop abrofo ni kro na man glass nkwa. Eti ane yesi bibifo ne nka ne develop ye de man glass nkwa. E dey any problem no. The government should take advantage of this. This is a huge opportunity. Let's develop our country with these resources.
Ebi so feel, ebi say, omo relatives bi omo enti
no. Ofa no mu fini de. Omomra, ye betwa omo.
Yeah, na yen chele wo now. Yen chele wo downtown. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, this is where we end today's session of Trend Digest. My name is Nana Ebo, of course, with double H at the back, and I was here with Awuche. This is what we have for you today. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, do everything for us. We are signing out. Peace.